So I'm going to talk to you about how to set up an Android Studio project with a Bitbucket repository. Bitbucket is a similar company organization to GitHub. And one of the nice things about Bitbucket compared to GitHub is that you don't have to pay for a limited number of private repositories. So if you want to keep something private and you don't have a lot of money, that's a great resource. So it assumes that this video that you already have an existing Bitbucket account. If not, you need to make one, and that you already have some Android Studio project you want to associate with the new Bitbucket repository. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in to my bitbucket.org site. And the interface, of course, changes for all these portals all the time, so it may look a little different than you. But what you'll find is some place to create a new repository. And I generally, give a meaningful name, obviously, and I'm going to give the same name actually as my project in my Android Studio project. So minimally what you need, of course, is the name of the project, Git, that whether or not you want this to be a private repository. You can give a description, and you can turn on, issue tracking, wiki, things like that. You could select the language if you want. I think it's just, there it is, Android is what you would specify. And so if you wanted to get HipChat notifications, you can enable that. HipChat is a way of communicating in the case of group work. And I'll let you check that out on your own. Okay, so at this point, I have a repository, and I can go back to my top-level account, and you can see here it is. It's an Android one. Now, one of the things you'll notice on this information page is down at the below, it has a link that says, I have an existing existing project. And you could manually transfer things, but we're going to try to set up, as I mentioned to you before, Android Studio. And one of the things that you're going to need is the URL to this repository, which is listed here. So let's transition here to his iSite. We already have this, and we're going to go ahead and actually be deploying and using GitHub. So we're going to actually add a new remote, basically. So we're going to VCS, we're going to give it a name, and then we're going to go to, the important thing is the URL, is the URL. You can see that GitHub, but we're going to add a new repository called, right here, it tells you what it is for that repository. Yours, of course, I'm just going to give it the same name, origin. So we're going to go ahead and add that. It may ask you to log in if you haven't been using Bitbucket already. This is what I already have. Paste in the URL that I copied before. So if I go back to right at that moment. Again, this is the URL that you want to copy. We need to really take everything here, and we need to add the entire. Okay, so they're not allowing that we can transfer it up. So origin, we'll just call it 2. Bring up and hit OK. Our spaces. So it's going to ask you for your credentials, which is your account information. I'm going to have to do Bitbucket, and this is kind of good to see if you've never done it. If you want to do a push, we can actually do a push. And so this was successful. If I wanted to remove, for example, GitHub and not have it be available, I could come in here and subtract, hit the minus, and it would remove it. You may have to do this actually only because repositories. If you've been using this project for a while, hit OK. And let's go ahead in one of the files and let's make some change. I'm just going to make a github.com account a silly change. Any changes. So you probably aren't going to need to do this. I'll show you what you'll be doing instead. But if any time you have to do a force push of everything, you can do it like this. So we're going to pause. This is taking a while. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add that.
Come back.
Oops.
Okay, so
file. There we go.
That we're actually done.
We're going to just
writing.
type in something here like
files
new
into
comment
our iSight repository.
Okay,
up on
and then we're going to
Bitbucket.
hit commit and
If we go to commits,
and we're going to
can
hit
actually
commit.
see that we had
Right.
commit,
Push.
and we have the source.
So it will do a local git commit
4 minutes
but
ago.
it should actually
And so
at the same time
here's the
do a push
tab
up
in the
to
source.
the
So now if we want to make a change, I'm going to go to this icon util file. And I'm going to just change a comment, something silly. And save it, of course. And then when I'm ready to commit, let's say, this file, I go to VCS and I say git. I can add that, so you have to go through the process of adding. And then you're ready to go ahead and commit the file. You can type in whatever message you want, changing documentation, changing comment. For example, here should be meaningful, but we're doing something silly. And here you can see the file on top that we've added. Of course, you can add multiple files in one commit. And when you're done with that, you say commit and push on the bottom. And you'll notice there's warnings. You'll have those too, but there's no errors, so you're just going to go ahead and ignore them and hit commit. It will bring up this window and you'll say push. And so down in the status bar you see it's pushing that file. And so if we go back to the repository and we look at our commits 18 seconds ago, there was this commit. Oops, clicked the wrong place again. Let's go back to iSight, commits, and then 18 seconds ago you saw this is the changing comment. Here's the actual commit, and here's the single file, and it displays the before in pink and the after in the dark green. So this is the way you can set up for Bitbucket use. Again, a nice thing about Bitbucket over GitHub is you can do private repositories with or a limited number of them with a free account, where you currently get 0 for free with GitHub.